Diva Dialogue, a talk show where we cover topics about healing from addiction to getting rid of your zits. If feeling passionate about something we're talking about, give us a call on our call-in number, 989-402-5414, so you can talk with our coach, Deb, who's been coaching for 6 years. Without further ado, here's our host, Deb.
So, hi, it's Coach Deb. You know, it's I don't know. I feel kind of weird today. It was so nice having some days off there for Thanksgiving. I'm sure that you feel the same way. I had a wonderful time and I got to spend it with my family. I got to spend some time with my son, which was very nice. I loved spending time with him and both of my stepchildren and their families. So we had a fabulous time. And now it's Monday and it's back to work. And I feel like a little let down for some reason. I don't know why. It's really weird. And it's kind of overcast today. So I'm doing my best to stay in a really good mood because I have to. So I think after this show, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee and just relax for a little while and gather my thoughts. I'm really excited about a guest that I have today. We've only talked on the phone a couple of times, but she's a really warm and wonderful person, and I'm hoping that I say your name correctly. Talibah Aset Mapaya Hawosipi.
It's Talibah Aset. I don't really use Mapia Hawachipi very often.
What do you use? Talibah Aset.
Talibah.
Okay, so
yes.
I can just call you, what should I call you, Talibah?
Yeah, most people just call me Talibah.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that. I can say that one.
Yeah.
So how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm pretty good. Thank you. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I pretty much slept the whole day.
Oh, well, sometimes that's a good Thanksgiving. I hope it was because I hope you weren't sick. Were you sick?
Oh, no, I wasn't sick. I just kind of laid down and just didn't get back up.
Well, that's
I kind of laid down and I spent the day kind of just really like slacking and just I didn't really do anything. It's like, you know, my kids are all grown up now, and it just got to where now it's kind of like Thanksgiving has kind of melted into the rest of the week. Yeah, well, yes, because my two daughters, the ones that are still here in town, they both had to work. You know, my son, he's gone now, and my oldest has moved out of the state. So it's kind of just like, well, and then my family got together on Saturday at one of my aunts. So that kind of it was kind of non-traditional type Thanksgiving. I just kind of slept the whole day.
Well, that's good. You know what? I had one of those days on Friday, and it felt really good.
Yeah, it does. It does feel really good. I actually, since I did that on Thanksgiving, I actually just spent the rest of the weekend kind of meditating and kind of working on some new material and new courses for my business, and you know, listening to binaural beats and meditations and different things like that. I just kind of spent it like a mini spa day, a mini retreat.
Good. And you know what? And I bet you were very thankful for that day and that weekend because, you know, it's one of the good things about our kids being gone is that we can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is, especially when they're gone and they don't, you know, come back every 5 minutes.
Right.
You know, I've never seen that happen really in real life, but you know, I see it on TV, like television families. It seems like the kids never really go. They just kind of keep coming back.
That's right.
Okay. My kids, they've grown up and they're kind of just on their own, which is a funny thing because a lot of times I'm calling them and like, well, you know, do you have time to come by and do this and do that? So, like, I become the kid and they're like, well, we don't have time. We have to do this. That's
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that it's funny how things go full circle. So tell us about what you do.
I will. I am a soul therapist. And it's a funny thing that most people ask all the time, well, what does a soul therapist do? I am, I guess for lack of a better way to explain it, you know, I tell people I am a highly specialized life coach. People know what a life coach is. I'm different from a life coach in that I don't really coach you as much as I try to help you find what's already there. It's already in you. I'm not telling you really how to do anything or coaching you. It's more of just helping you tap into the magnificence that's already inside you and finding creative ways to utilize it. But, I work from the inside out. I don't work from, I'm not one that's going to show you how to get your finances in order by doing this step, this step, this step. I'll find what's inside you that's causing you to block it and help you get that block released, and then the outside will fall in place. So I don't do a whole lot of work with, your outward or appearances that are outside of you. I work with everything that's inside you.
Very
We
good.
do a lot of inner child work. I'm sorry.
Very good. I like that. Very good. What led you down this path?
I became a soul therapist, believe it or not, by having a mess of a life. I had a life that was a mess, and I had to figure it out. I didn't have a soul therapist, and when I was coming up, wasn't even a such thing as a life coach. If it was, I didn't know about it. School guidance counselors are really just test administrators. The guidance counselors at school here, I don't know about everybody else, but really they're just test administrators that have a title because they don't really help you do anything. And if you're in school, you already don't know what the guidance counselor is for. You're not going to go there. So I had to figure things out on my own. I had to, find different ways. And that thankfully was I got into high school, I've always been a voracious reader, but I became a big, big fan of Emerson and Thoreau. Because you can't be fan of one and not the other. They kind of go together.
Right.
So
That's right.
I became fans of those two guys and began to start to look into the transcendentalist movement. And that led me from one place. You know how you read one thing and leads you to something else, and leads you to something else, and leads you to something else. And little by little, I began to put together what I needed to do for myself and kind of find me. It took a long time, and I know I'm condensing it, and it looks like it happened overnight, but really it took a lot of years. It took a lot of years, a lot of trial and error, a lot of figuring out. But once I finally got it down and figured, well, for the most part, I have this thing called life figured out. Understand, you'll never really all the way figure it out because it's always going to be something that you don't know.
Right.
But I had it at least figured out enough to know how things work. And once I found out how things work and began to put things together in my life where, you look at the outward appearance, it looked like, one way. But on the inside, I became very at peace. I had an inner peace. And the inner peace is what you want because once you have that, you can see your way through whatever the appearance is. You stop being attached to outcomes. And you stop being attached to circumstances that are outside of you. And once you do that, you can work through whatever it is. And when I learned that, like, wow, this is a profound thing. Why don't I try to help other people? If I did try to help other people, I, at that point, still didn't realize that I could do it for a living. So it's about doing it for free. And, she was, still telling me, wow, you're really good at this. Have you ever thought about being a counselor? And I was like, no, I didn't think about being a counselor. Well, have you ever thought about being a teacher? No, I never think about doing that. Little by little, I finally realized, okay, this is something I can create a career around, a business around. And that's, in a nutshell, how I got into doing soul therapy.
Very good. So, and I think that's how most of us take a very similar path. Like I would have never thought about doing this until one day I was thinking about becoming a marriage counselor, and I had been divorced for 4 times. So I actually had more experience in the trials and tribulations of going through a divorce than the pain and the financial hardship that comes in the process, that I decided to specialize. I'm a life coach, but I specialize in getting people through divorce. So same kind of path. You have to make purpose of your pain, right?
Right, and that's what happened. It's interesting that you said that, because I am an ordained spiritual celebrant. I never liked the word minister. I'm a celebrant. And one of the ceremonies, I'll never forget, when I was going through and learning to do ceremonies, one of the ceremonies that I came up with was a divorce ceremony. It's interesting that that's what you do, because I wanted people to understand. My parents divorced when I was very young, and it was a truly, truly traumatic experience for me. I don't think the divorce in and of itself was. It's just all the other stuff that comes with it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think, one of the interesting things, though, about my family is that my family, even though my parents divorced, the two sides of the family are still incredibly close.
Oh, that's nice.
So I didn't get, when I started to meet other people, and I would see, people who are, not speaking to the in-laws or don't want the kids to go with the in-laws. I'm like, for real? That's how y'all do things? Because, no, we don't do things like that. And I started realizing, divorce, it rips a family apart, not just the family, the husband and wife, it's the children, the in-laws. You have a mother-in-law that really likes her daughter-in-law, and I've had that to happen in my life, where one of my exes, his mom, every time I would see her, she was like, you want me to call him? I was like, he's married now. I was like, well, I can call him, but I was like, no, I don't want you to call him. Him and his wife would be yeah, but the mom wanted me, but he had gone on and married someone else. It's not that we didn't get along. We're good friends now. But the point is, a lot of people suffer when there's a divorce. It's an awesome thing. I've never known anybody else that actually deals with divorcing couples. So that's a really interesting thing, too.
Thank you. And I watched what my children went through, and I think that's what my most, the thing that I value the most about my skills. And it was a blessing in disguise when I look back, because I also helped my nephew, and I helped the parents focus on the children's needs, and not theirs so much, to put theirs in the back and make those children's lives as regimented and safe and secure as possible, so that they're comfortable with it. But that's enough about me. So, coaching is I think that there's not a whole lot of us that are truly called to it. And it sounds like you are, because you have the empathy. So what would be your ideal client? What guide us through some of your a program or something that you do?
Oh, my ideal clients are women and youth. I work with youth and I work with women. And right now I have a program that I'm just starting to market. And it's a 4-month program, and it's a Let Go and Live. It's a pain mastery program. So in this program, one of the things that I'm emphasizing, and the funny that I'm not teaching it, I'm doing it as, a coaching. I'm doing it more as like a teaching. So it would be more like you're coming in, and it's one-on-one like coaching, because I haven't set a price point for the group yet. But you'll sit down, we'll